Are you all ready? Because I can wait to welcome you back in this exciting world of learning and enjoyment. Pleasure to welcome you in our science class. I'm Sir Danwar Torpeda, your teacher for today. Before we start our class, let me give you an activity. First, identify the planets in the solar system and sequence of the planets in the solar system from biggest to smallest. Are you ready to listen? If so, have your module, pen, and notebook ready so we can explore the solar system together.
There you are! Do you see what's in the top of my head? Aside from the planets, what else do you see? Let's zoom it up so we can see it more clearly. That's right! Our planet is surrounded by the star. Do you see it? Are you familiar with this object? Do you know that the Sun is an ordinary star? What about 100 billion in our galaxy, the Milky Way? The Sun has extremely important influences on our planet. It drives weather, ocean currents, seasons, and climate, and makes plant life possible through photosynthesis. It is amazing, right?
Can anybody guess which planet we live on? That's right, we live on Earth. Earth is the only place in the known universe confirmed in host life. Can anyone name our planets? Does anyone know the sequence of our planet? That's right. For our discussion, we are going to focus on planets in our solar system. But before we discuss the planets, let us know first what the solar system is.
Our solar system consists of our star, the sun, and everything bound to it by gravity. The planets, Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. Dwarf planets such as Pluto, dozens of moons, and millions of asteroids, comets, and meteoroids. We're going to discuss planets from biggest to smallest.
Things need to know in Jupiter. Jupiter, the largest planet in the solar system, more than twice as massive as all the other planets combined. Jupiter's familiar stripes and swirls are actually cold, windy clouds of ammonia and water, floating in an atmosphere of hydrogen and helium. Jupiter's iconic Great Red Spot is a giant storm bigger than Earth that has raged for hundreds of years. Jupiter is a gas giant and so lacks an Earth-like surface. If it has a solid inner core at all, it's likely only about the size of Earth. 9 spacecraft have visited Jupiter. 7 flew by and 2 have orbited the gas giant. Juno, the most recent, arrived at the Jupiter in 2016. Jupiter rotates once about every 10 hours, a Jovian day, but takes about 12 Earth years to complete one orbit of the Sun, a Jovian year.
Saturn. Saturn is the 6th planet from the Sun and the second largest planet in our solar system. Adorned with thousands of beautiful ringlets, Saturn is unique among the planets. It is not the only planet to have rings made of chunks of ice and rock, but none are as spectacular or as complicated as Saturn. Like fellow gas giant Jupiter, Saturn is a massive ball made mostly of hydrogen and helium. Saturn is the 6th planet from the Sun and the second largest planet in our solar system. Our need to know in Saturn. Saturn's atmosphere is made up mostly of hydrogen and helium. Saturn has 53 known moons with an additional 29 moons awaiting confirmation of their discovery. That is a total of 82 moons. Saturn is a gas giant planet, therefore does not have a solid surface like Earth, but it might have a solid core somewhere in there. 9 Earths side by side would almost span Saturn's diameter. That doesn't include Saturn's rings.
Uranus is the seventh planet from the Sun and has the third largest diameter in our solar system. It was the first planet found with the aid of a telescope. Uranus was discovered in 1781 by astronomer William Herschel. Although he originally thought it was either a comet or a star. It was 2 years later that the object was universally accepted as a new planet, in part because of observation by astronomer Johann Elert Both. Herschel tried unsuccessfully to name his discovery Georgium Sidus after King George III. Instead, the scientific community accepted Both's suggestion to name it Uranus, the Greek god of the sky. As suggested by Both, Uranus about 4 times wider than Earth. If Earth were a large apple, Uranus would be the size of a basketball.
Need to know things in Uranus. Uranus orbits our Sun, a star, and is the seventh planet from the Sun at a distance of about 1.8 billion miles. Uranus is an ice giant. Most of its mass is a hot, dense fluid of icy materials, water, methane and ammonia above a small rocky core. Uranus has 13 known rings. The inner rings are narrow and dark, and the outer rings are brightly colored.
Neptune, dark, cold, and weak by the supersonic winds as giant. Neptune is the eighth and the most distant planet in our solar system, more than 30 times as far from the Sun as Earth. Neptune is the only planet in our solar system not visible to the naked eye and the first predicted by mathematics before its discovery. In 2011, Neptune completed its first 165-year orbit since its discovery in 1846. Okay class, you can always pause our video or go for a screenshot so you can have notes for yourself. Now, proceeding with their bibliography, you need to know things in Neptune. Neptune is about 4 times wider than Earth. If Earth were a large apple, Neptune would be the size of a basketball. Neptune orbits our Sun, a star, and is the 8th planet from the Sun at a distance of about 2.8 billion miles, or 4.5 billion kilometers. Neptune's atmosphere is made up mostly of molecular hydrogen, atomic helium, and methane. Neptune cannot support life as we know it.
Our planet is the third planet from the Sun, and the only place we know of so far that's inhabited by living things. While Earth is the only fifth largest planet in the solar system, it is the only world in our solar system with liquid water on the surface, just slightly larger than nearby Venus. Earth is the largest of the 4 planets closest to the Sun, all of which are made of rock and metal. The name Earth is at least 1,000 years old. All of the planets, except for Earth, were named after the Greek and Roman gods and goddesses. However, the name Earth is a Germanic word which simply means the ground. Things we need to know from Earth. Number 1. If the Sun were tall as a typical front door, Earth would be the size of a nickel. Number 2. Earth orbits our Sun as star. Earth is the third planet from the Sun at a distance of 93 million miles or 150 million kilometers. Number 3. A day on Earth is 24 hours. Earth makes a complete orbit around the Sun. A year in Earth time in about 365 days. And last, number 4. Earth has no rings.
Venus is the second planet from the Sun, and it is Earth's closest planetary neighbor. It's one of the 4 inner, terrestrial or rocky planets, and it's often called Earth's twin because it's similar in size and density. These are not identical twins. However, there are radical differences between the 2 worlds. Venus has a thick, toxic atmosphere filled with carbon dioxide, and it's perpetually shrouded in thick, yellowish clouds or sulfuric acid that trap heat, causing a runaway greenhouse effects. It's the hottest planet in our solar system, even though Mercury is closer to the Sun. Surface temperatures on Venus are about 900 degrees Fahrenheit or 475 degrees Celsius, hot enough to melt lead.
The surface is a rusty color and it's prepared with intensely crunched mountain and thousands of large volcanoes. Scientists think it's possible some volcanoes are still alive. Venus has crushing air pressure and its surface more than 90 times that of Earth, similar to the pressure you'd encounter a mile below the ocean on Earth. Venus is the second closest planet to the Sun, orbiting at the distance of about 67 million miles or 108 million kilometers. Venus rotates very slowly on its axis. One day on Venus lasts 243 Earth days. The planet orbits the Sun faster than Earth. However, so 1 year on Venus takes only about 225 Earth days, making a Venusian day longer than its year.
Mars is the fourth planet from the Sun, a dusty, cold desert world with a very thin atmosphere. Need to know things about Mars. Mars is also a dynamic planet with seasons, polar ice caps, canyons, extinct volcanoes, and evidence that it was even more active in the past. Mars is a rocky planet. Its solid surface has been altered by volcanoes, impacts, winds, crustal movement, and chemical reactions. Mars is one of the most explored bodies in our solar system, and it's the only planet where we've sent rovers to roam the alien landscapes.
The smallest planet in our solar system and nearest to the Sun, Mercury is only slightly larger than Earth's moon. Because of Mercury's elliptical, egg-shaped orbit and sluggish rotation, the Sun appears to rise briefly, set, and rise again from some parts of the planet's surface. The same thing happens in reverse at sunset. Things we need to know about Mercury. Mercury is the smallest planet in our solar system, only slightly larger than Earth's moon. Mercury is the planet that orbits the closest to the Sun. Mercury is the fastest planet in our solar system, traveling through space at nearly 29 miles per second. Mercury is a rocky planet, also known as a terrestrial planet. Mercury has a solid, cratered surface much like the Earth's moon. Mercury has no moons.
Alright, we have discussed and learned about the biggest to the smallest planet, its definition and characteristics. Now, have you understand our lesson? I want you to get your pen and paper and do this assignment so we can assess if you got our lesson for today completely. These are the guidelines. Name the planets in the solar system. You will be given 2 to 3 minutes to do your work. Look at your answer. Just place a check on your paper if your answer is correct. Let us now go for our short test of knowledge. It's quiz time!
What's your overall score? A high score indicates that you are grasping the lesson we are teaching you well. Don't worry, either. If you have missed any of our video lessons, you can always watch it again. Always keep in mind that learning is the only thing that never exhausts, never fears, and never regrets. By Leonardo da Vinci.
This concludes our lesson for today. I hope you retained information from our session and made notes as we went along. We are done now. Thank you very much and be careful at all times. I am Teacher JM.
Teacher Karil. I am your teacher, Kat.
I'm your teacher, Christian.
I'm your teacher, Faith.
And this is Eduk TV. Bye!